Hi students, today we are going to discuss the last unit of your academic year, oscillations and waves, and this is chapter 14, which is oscillations. Now, before going into the topic oscillations in detail, we have to study certain terms related to this chapter. The first term is periodic motion. Now you know in our school, every period is 45 minutes, almost 45 minutes. And after each 45 minutes, the next period will start. So there is a repeat or fixed amount of time. Similarly, a motion is said to be periodic if it repeats itself at a regular or fixed interval of time. A motion is periodic if it repeats at a regular interval of time. Very common example is motion of hands of a clock, motion of the earth around sun, motion of satellites around earth, etc., etc., etc. It is repeating at a fixed interval of time, isn't it? So the next term is oscillatory or harmonic motion. Oscillations. Now imagine you are seated in a swing, okay, and you are someone or you applied some force and the swing started to move. How is the motion of the swing? If this is the initial point, from here the swing will go to one side, come back to the initial point, go to the other side, then again come back to the initial point, then go to the other side, etc. It keep on moving. So there is a to and fro motion about a mean or initial position. And this to and fro motion is what we call oscillatory or vibratory or harmonic motion. Rapid to and fro motion of an object about its mean position is known as oscillatory, vibratory or harmonic motion. Now the difference between oscillatory and vibratory is oscillations will be slow but vibrations will be very fast. Your phone is vibrating. You will never say your phone is oscillating. The string of the guitar is vibrating, isn't it? But a pendulum will be oscillating because it will be comparatively moving in a slower speed. Now the two terms which is very important related to oscillation is mean position and extreme position. You have studied these terms. Means if you have a pendulum, you know what is a pendulum? A string with a bob attached to its end. It's a pendulum. If it is at rest, that initial point can be considered as the mean position. And if I am applying some force and displacing the pendulum, what happens? It goes to one point, from there again comes back to the initial point, from there it goes to other point, from there it comes back to the initial point, then go to the other side. So these are the extreme positions of the pendulum or the swing or the oscillatory motion. So the two terms important is mean position and extreme position. Okay. Now one question is, all oscillatory motion periodic? Is all periodic motion oscillatory? It's a very important question. Now take the case of a swing or a pendulum, okay, and imagine there is no resistance, no air, it's vacuum. So what happens if we initially displace the pendulum or the swing and we release it, it keeps on moving in the to and fro motion at every fixed time and at every fixed interval of time. That pendulum will be passing, or the bob or the string, whatever it is, will be crossing a point at the same time every time. Okay, if you go to the side, come back, go to the other side, again go back, goes to the other side, etc., etc. Which means the oscillation is repeated at regular interval of time, or the to and fro motion is getting repeated at regular interval of time. So we can say every oscillation is periodic, provided no resistance is external resistance is there. But the question is all periodic motions oscillatory? Now take the case of Earth moving around the Sun. It is moving in a fixed orbit around the Sun, isn't it? But it is not moving across the Sun with taking Sun as its initial point. There is no rapid to and fro motion of Earth, which means periodic motions cannot be considered to be oscillation. But all periodic motions cannot be considered as oscillation. So very important point. All oscillations can be considered periodic, but all periodic motions does not come under the category of oscillation. Next, we are going to study a term known as periodic function. Periodic function. Now we have studied about function in maths. What is actually a function? A function is actually an expression or an equation which relates variables. For example, work is equal to force into displacement. So it is an equation which relates work with force and displacement. Similarly, in oscillations also we use the term periodic function. Periodic function means a function which repeats itself at regular interval of time. Periodic function. A function which repeats at regular interval of time. Or we can say a function which comes back to its initial value at a regular interval of time. Very simple example is, we have studied about f of x, function of x means equation related to x. Similarly, if I am writing f of theta is equal to sine theta. This is a function, and when I am applying values to this theta, for example 90 degree, 0 degree, etc., I will get different answers, isn't it? Again, I am going to write f of theta plus an angle of 2 pi. So to the angle theta I am going to apply at 360 degree. Equal to sine pi plus theta. And in maths you have studied that sine 360 plus theta is equal to sine theta itself. Maths students know it very clearly. Sine of 360 plus theta is sine theta. Similarly, this is applicable to cos theta also. Cos of 360, that is 2 pi, plus theta is cos theta. So these functions are known as periodic functions, because when we are adding 360 degree to the angle, the sine value is again coming back, or the cos value again we are getting, which means it is an example for periodic function. Now we are going to express periodic function in graphical form. Before expressing sin theta and cos theta in graphical form, we will take the case of pendulum, and we will express displacement of the bob of the pendulum with respect to time. It is very easy for you to understand. Okay? So imagine you have a pendulum which is initially at rest. We will call it as point 1. Okay? This 1 is the initial or main position of the pendulum. And what I did is, I applied a certain amount of force and I displaced the pendulum to this point. So this is the extreme point, we will call it as 2. Okay, so this is my pendulum. I applied some small displacement to the pendulum and I released it. What will happen to pendulum? It will go to the extreme point, try to come back to the initial point, but again go to the other side, then come back to the initial point, and this to and fro motion keeps on if there is no air resistance, which means, so this much is the displacement of the pendulum from the initial point. As I am displacing the pendulum, it is getting increased, which is the maximum value. From there, what is happening? The pendulum will try to come back to the initial point, which means the displacement is getting decreased, comes to the initial point, and it doesn't stop there. It goes to the other side, goes to the, whatever is the displacement this side, that much maximum displacement, it takes place in the other side also. Then again from there, it comes back, which means the displacement is from the initial point. We can call it as zero position. It is increasing, reaches the maximum, maybe a 2 centimeter or 3 centimeter from the origin, 1. From there, what happens? It decreases, reaches the initial point. Does it stop there? No, it goes back to the other side, which we can take as the negative axis. Goes to the other side, reaches the maximum, covers the maximum displacement, then returns back to the original point, goes to the other side, and this to and fro motion keeps on repeating. So now let us see how this can be represented graphically. Okay. So this is the rest point of our pendulum. Okay. With respect to time, I am drawing the graph. Okay, and let this much be the maximum displacement of the pendulum from its initial point along either side. If it is +1 this side, 1 centimeter, this other side also it will be 1 centimeter, but since it is opposite, we will take it as -1. So what happens? I am taking my pendulum and I am slowly displacing it or moving it from its initial point. So what happens? From the initial point, the distance is getting increased. So it is getting increased, which is the maximum value. Then what does the pendulum do? Once I release my hand, it will try to come back to its initial point. So from that maximum value, the displacement is getting decreased. Getting decreased, it reaches the initial point. Now will it stop there? No. What will happen? It will go to the other side and travel along the same distance as it is traveled to the other side. So its displacement will increase slowly in the negative side. We can say the opposite side, reaches the maximum point here. Then what happens from there? Again it tries to return to its initial point. Will it stop there? No. Again it will go to the other side, which is the maximum, comes back, and this will keep on repeating if there is no resistance. So this is a example for a periodic graph. Okay, it's a graph showing a periodic function of displacement with time. Same, we know sin theta and cos theta is also periodic function. So we are going to now draw sin theta. Okay. Now theta for us is the angular displacement of the pendulum. In the previous case I said about linear displacement, so this much is theta. So as the bob is moving to both the sides, what happened? Theta is increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing, etc. Isn't it? And instead of angular displacement, I am going to write the equation in terms of angular velocity. We know angular velocity is rate of change of angular displacement. So this equation can be written as sin omega t, where theta is equal to omega, angular velocity into time taken. Okay, and I am going to write omega in terms of time period. Imagine instead of to and fro motion, the pendulum is completing one circular motion. Okay, so for one complete circular motion, it travels 2 pi distance, isn't it? Okay, so this can be written as sin 2 pi by t, linear distance, into t. Omega is equal to 2 pi by t. and I'm going to divide the time. For one complete motion, I'm going to divide the time into 4 equal parts. Like, if capital T is the time period, and what is time period? Is the time taken for one complete rotation or complete oscillation. That time I'm going to divide into 0, T by 4, T by 2, 3T by 4 and T, which means time taken, total time taken is T, and that is the, I am going to convert it into time period. Or for example, time taken for one complete motion or to and fro motion is 2 seconds. I am going to, for that means pendulum will go to one side, come to the initial point, go to the other side, come to the initial point. For that it is taking 2 seconds, and I am going to divide that time, that total time into 4. That is initial time, time t equal to 0. Then what happens at the 1/4 of the journey? What happens to the half of the journey, etc., etc. So that 2 seconds I have made it as t. And that t I have divided into this much. Means initial time of the time period, 1/4 time of the time period, half of the time period, etc., etc. Okay. Now, sine omega t is equal to sine 2 pi by t into t. This is our equation. So first, let us find out what is the value of f of omega t for the initial time. Okay, what is the value of the function sin omega t for the initial point? At the initial point, what is the value? So that means at time t equal to 0, substitute we will get sin 2 pi by t into 0. What is this? Sin 0, and sin 0 is 0. So the value of the function omega t will be equal to 0. Next, at the 1/4 of our journey, that is when time t equal to t by 4. And if it is 2 seconds, then 2 by 4. What is the value of a function? Sin 2 pi by t into t by 4. You get as sin pi by 2. And what is sin pi by 2? It is 1. Next, during half of our journey, t by 2, what is the value? Sin 2 pi by t to t by 2. Sin pi is sin 180, value is 0, value of function is 0. Then, at the 3/4 of the motion of the pendulum, what is the value? Sin 2 pi by t into t by 4. Sorry, 3t by 4. So it is sin 270, and sin 270 is minus 1. Again, at the end of one complete motion, that is t is equal to capital T. For us, our example was 2 seconds. It will be sin 2 pi by t into t, that is sin 360, that is 0. So let us see how the function sin theta or sin omega t can be represented graphically. So maximum value is 1, minus 1, 0 at the point. This is the time axis, t by 4, t by 2, 3t by 4, t. Well, if it was 2 seconds, then 0.5 seconds, 1 second, 1.5 second, 2 seconds. How can we draw the graph? Okay. So at initial time when t is equal to 0, what was the function's value? Function's value was 0. Now, when at the time t by 4, what is the value of sine function? It is 1. Now, when t is equal to t by 2, what is the function's value? 0. When t is equal to 3t by 4, what is the function's value? Minus 1. Similarly, when t is equal to t, that is total time taken for one complete oscillation, it will be 0. So, this will keep on repeating. So, this is a graph which shows a function sin theta with respect to time. Similarly, so this is the function. This function is sin theta. And this axis represents the function with respect to time we have drawn. So, f of t. Okay. Next, if you are drawing a graph to show the function cos theta with respect to time, it is of then you will get a graph like this. This is the time axis and this is the value of function. This axis represents the function axis, which means for our case it was, for sine it was 1, 0, minus 1 and 0. That is the function value with respect to time. Okay. So, if you are given a graph which starts from origin, then definitely it will be a sine wave. And if you are given a graph which starts from the maximum value, then it will be most probably a cos wave. These are the examples for periodic function. These are the graphs which represents the periodic function. Now, there are examples for non-periodic motion also. For example, motion of branch of a tree, motion of tides. It is unpredictable. We can't say at this particular interval of time the tide will come up, it will go down, etc. It depends on the gravity of earth, etc. So, these are all examples for non-periodic motion, and graphically it can be represented as time axis, function axis. This is an example for non-periodic graph. Function with respect to time. These are all examples for non-periodic function. These are the graphs which represents the non-periodic function. Thank you.